Hello, I'm Sudarshana Starshine Star. How are all of you guys doing? It's a beautiful Tuesday. It's May 13th, 2025. It's the last day of this incredible full moon because every new moon and full moon have 3 days each, and the middle day is called the peak day. So we're on the third and the final day of this wonderful flower full moon. It's been in Scorpio, and wow, it's just been amazing in my experience. Such a powerful time. First day, huge changes. You can feel the shaking all around for the better, but it was like I like to say, that full moon hit, and yeah, it's all for the good. Beautiful. I like to start all of my clips with the 3 opening prayers in Sanskrit and Telugu, and they are short, so don't worry. This is to bless, uplift, purify, and funify. That's my made-up word, funify, you, me, and this clip. It's the Guru Mantra, the Ganesha Mantra, and the Gayatri Mantra. Om, 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 Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmahi Sri Guruve Namaha. Om Suklam Bharataram Vishnum Sishivarnam Chatobhujam Prasanavaranam Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashante. Om Bhur Bhuva Suvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Excellent. Well, earlier today I watched the United States Saudi Arabian summit in Riyadh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was so uplifting and heartwarming and inspiring. Gosh, it was amazing. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman broke with tradition, and he greeted President Trump at the airport. Yeah, these two have a wonderful relationship. And I had to go back to thinking of the date. It was May 21st, 2017, when President Trump was in Saudi Arabia receiving the sword dance from the Saudis. And you can look that up yourself. Don't use Google or Wikipedia. Use Bing or Brave browser. Just type that in and you'll see. Like I said, it's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory. It actually happened. And you need to look into the history if you don't know that the Saudis don't give the sword dance to anyone and allow him to hold the big sword as they dance around him with their swords, honoring him as the king. He was honored as the king. President Trump's tour in 2017, when he went to several countries, was a capitulation tour. Of course, the media is not going to tell you what it's really about. And of course, there was much gaslighting and lies and rumor about what was really happening. But President Trump had all the evidence against the satanic, pedivore, dark cult, controlling evils that call themselves elites that have been allowed to run their family branches throughout this earth realm. And if you want to know more about that, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is called It's the Dazzling of the Light at Sudarshana Starshine Star. I have like 193, I think, clips there. There's a series called The Controllers, which is really good to let you know more about the bloodlines and the history of what has been allowed to rule over this earth realm, really for 26,000 years. But it just started out faintly and kept getting increasingly stronger in what is called in India this Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga, Yuga. Yuga means a cycle, and we always are traversing through different cycles with varying degrees of light and darkness. And the Kali Yuga is a period of the most incredible darkness, just like inches away from absolute hell. And we've been living in that, and we think that's normal. It's not normal. And it's all it's time to flip the switch. We're going into our 1,000 years of peace and prosperity. And this is what's so amazing because, as I've said before on my clips and spoken about it, MAGA, M-A-G-A, is not just Make America Great Again. You have to look deeper, people. M-A-G stands for magnetism. A is short for alpha. Mother Divine is the magnetism of this creation and all creations. And Father Divine, of divine consciousness, the seed of consciousness, is the alpha. And Mother, Father, God are always together, even though you can parse them out separately, and definitely experience Mother Divine and her incarnations as Mother Divine, as same for Father Divine. But wherever you find Mother, you find Father. Wherever you find Father, you find Mother. So they really are always together. But it's a great depth subject that I've spoken about a little bit on my clips, but this is not the time to go into that. I just wanted to mention that for people that are, I really feel for them. They're either so lost in delusions that they don't even want to do any research at all other than watch TV or read mainstream media newspapers that are owned by these evil, satanic, controlling families and have been, even though much of them has been taken out, but their minions are running it. And by taken out, I mean those that commit treason and crimes against humanity are given military tribunals at a place that, the main place we call the spa in Cuba, but there are many other places as well. And that's been going on for years. And capital crimes receive capital punishment. You can figure that out for yourself. But there's much masking going on in this world on the side of the good guys and the bad guys that are called the white hats and the dark hats, or the black hats. And I'll speak a little bit about that more because when I talk about Benjamin Netanyahu, I have to bring it up. Anyway, this sword dance that was given to the king on May 20 in 2017 to President Trump, which was recorded, was signifying the capitulation tour, a great turnover and surrender of the evils, because President Trump and the White Hats accompanying him, because he's not alone in this. He has a incredible support, not just of humans, but also of some extraterrestrial and also including off-world beings that have been helping in this restoration of humanity on the earth realm, using their incredible wisdom, their hearts, their souls, as well as their technology. And that will come out more, but that's what's been happening. So President Trump had all the analog recordings, tapes, videos, movies. He had all the documents. He had all the more recent text messages, all the phone calls, everything that he needed. Just tons of proofs of what the dark cult satanic evils that have been the ruling class across the earth realm have been doing, not just treasonous against their people, but they're very much as part of their satanic religion, not only pedophiles, but pedivores. And that doesn't mean once in a while, that means on the regular. So one of the great unifying things is coming out more and more now, and more people, thank goodness, are waking up to this. But one of the great unifying topics and subjects that's also very, very heart-wrenching for humans, but it's a great unifying force, is to understand what has been done with our babies and children, what has occurred with them, which is horrible, terrible, tragic, and hideous beyond words. Words can't express it. Words cannot express it. There's no expression that can suit what they have gone through, however. So I have no pity for people that say, no, I can't find out about these things because it's too rough. Well, the babies and the children have had to endure it. And if they've had to endure it with no help in sight, then I think that people can take some of their time to do some research or to look at things that maybe, yes, you feel like you want to throw up. It brings you to your knees, unless you're insane or sociopathic. You will probably keel over for a little while, but it's necessary. It's necessary. This is the end times not for humanity, but for the evils. And the apocalypse from the Greek means the great unveiling. So it's no time to keep those veils clasped about your seeing and just covering what the reality truth is, just because one might not want to let go of one's comfort zone, and one might just say, no, I just want to live a very, life full of ease and comfort as best I can. Well, too bad, because these are not the times that we're in, and everyone that's here agreed to be here at this time. There's no accidents. So President Trump, gosh, it was just so amazing, though. I'm doing this. I'm going to call this clip. I'm going to call it the reboot, and then semicolon glorious part 1, and because I have to do a part 2 after this, I'm trying to keep this relatively short, but maybe I need to scrap that. Why? Because just now I looked at the clock and I saw that it's already, right now, it's 11 minutes and 1 second. Yes, I like that number, 1101. But I was trying to keep it, my plan was to keep it under 10 minutes so I could post it on my TikTok, because they recently instated a 10-minute only rule to post clips there, and do like a part 1, part 2. But now I've already passed it over and I don't want to redo it. So forget part 1, part 2. We're just going to do the whole thing right now. Watching the U.S. Saudi Arabian summit today was just so heartwarming. I mean, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman had the YMCA playing as President Trump stood on the dais. I mean, that was so epic and unexpected. The huge American flag on the left, and then with the Saudi flag on the right, and the American flag was bigger. They put such a welcome that they made the American flag more like bigger. I mean, that was so hospitable and gracious of them to do that. Truthfully. Anyway, President Trump gave a wonderful, wonderful speech. And he was also very much appreciating and complimenting the Crown Prince, as well as what his team has accomplished. He said he's never seen some of the amazing towers being built, and some things that he sees now there that he says he's never seen anywhere in the world. Along with the fact that now the Saudis are not just excelling only in oil production or sales. They're really have stepped up their economic game, and it is inspiring, and I'm happy. I'm happy for them. And President Trump, had declared that the Saudis were investing $1 trillion in the United States now, which is amazing. And he reaffirmed very strongly how much our U.S. military is the best on the earth realm, and has technology that no one even knows about. And he's not a warmonger, so people that say that are just, they need to learn a little bit more, or a lot more. But he's very much about defending our country, as everyone should be. Being nationalistic is not a crime. You should be proud of your country and your culture and stand up and defend it. That doesn't mean going on the attack, but it means defending oneself and one's country. And one's culture is nothing to be ashamed of, despite what the dark cult satanic, via their branches like the communist branch, and communism is Satanism. Like I say so often, look into Marx and Lenin, and they were pure Satanists. You'll find out the system is it's a win for nobody except for the dark force. It's terrible. So President Trump had reiterated that he won't allow anyone to attack America, and he will stand by his partners, the partners of the United States, which is now more than ever reaffirmed as Saudi Arabia. He said no one will attack Saudi Arabia. The United States will defend Saudi Arabia against any attackers, and he said we'll always be friends. But throughout his speech toward the end, what brought tears to my eyes was when President Trump authentically said, he said, I'm cutting all sanctions. I'm ending all sanctions to Syria. And he repeated this twice. He said, I want to see them shine. Yes, he said, I want to see Syria shine. When he said that, towards the end of his speech, Crown Prince bin Salman jumped up and led a standing ovation. The whole huge, beautiful, beautiful auditorium, which held so many people, it was so beautiful. Everyone gave such a loud roar of approval and clapping and happiness. It was a moment of real, real happiness, because this is what, it's here now. This is what we're moving into. We're moving into what really humanity is about. It's about, yes, building your country and looking out for your country's best interests, but not being so deluded in evil that you rejoice in the downfall of other countries and peoples. Because we, the people of this earth realm, we're all one family. We're all Mother, Father God's divine sparks of light created. We're all Mother, Father God's divine children with many different expressions. And as long as we're not harming ourselves or hurting other people, this variety is the spice of life. So the Saudis were so happy with that. And it just went to such a pure note of rejoicing, because President Trump also talked about now how the China, he's only lowered the 145% tariffs on China to 30%. And he had spoken about this before, and I've spoken about it. He didn't want to see we the people of China suffer. Now, the CCP, countries corrupt, satanic, hideously bent governments like the CCP, they are not we the people of that country. So the CCP needed to learn a lesson, and to learn that there are consequences. You can't keep doing what you've done to America for so long. In so many ways, I'm not going to go into it. I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this clip, you're aware of what I'm talking about. But I wanted the CCP to learn a lesson. I wanted the Chinese people to wake up out of some of their propaganda and MK Ultra, but I didn't want, and no sane person would really want them to starve and to suffer and have nothing, have everything collapse around them. And people that, I'm sorry to say, that they call themselves American patriots, that were posting all online, all these comments all this time about, now it's China's turn to feel what America went through when, our government and officials and everything were seriously bribed by China, and then so much of our business and our production at home and our factories and everything went to China. So many jobs were lost, and so much poverty and suffering ensued. And that was real. And yes, that happened. But it's only a deluded person that experiences something awful like that and then is gleeful when it happens to other people. That's upside down thinking and feeling. I don't agree with that at all. So I'm very happy that now, and also President Trump said that for the first time, China's opening up its doors to the United States. So they will finally accept what we have to trade instead of us just buying everything from them. And like President Trump said last year, we lost $1 trillion to China with the unfair trade situation. So bottom line, there's so much goodness going on, amazingness. And I'm just so thrilled and happy. And it's just amazing nothing can stop what is coming. There's so much good coming in. There's so much amazing coming in. And yes, there's so much more accountability that we will see on the world stage more and more, not only with the top quote unquote dogs, male and female, but with all of their minions, all the just crazy minions that are just all about doing wrong and hurting themselves and other people. There's accountability. Don't worry about that. So I want to read from this. I love this guy. He calls himself General Sherman. And he purports to be that he's just some kind of like a rural guy out somewhere in the countryside in the United States. But I'm just going ... after that. He just seems to be more connected than he pretends to just be giving his opinion or something. But I really like him a lot. Has a great sense of humor. He's a wonderful speaker, but he curses a lot. He does it in a funny way. When I quote someone, I have to quote them exactly. I can't just cut out and change what they said, but I'm not going to use all of his F-bombs. I'll call them effing, and you probably laugh when you hear how many they are, but here we go. This is what General Sherman put out today, and he titled it, "Trump is on fire, cutting deals and ending all the BS wars. Let the man cook." And he says, Trump is in the Middle East completely realigning our foreign policy with them all. He just cut a strategic deal with Saudi Arabia. This is economic, military, and government partnerships. The economic part, they are going to invest $1 trillion into the U.S. They are also going to slash oil prices. Now, oil prices are already down 25% since Trump took office, but it's the oil companies here, Exxon and Chevron, that don't want to drop gas prices. So he's going to have to kick them in the DICK to make some action happen there because they don't want to see their profits cut. Now, the other deal is we will now be protecting Saudi Arabia in case they are attacked. Now, Saudi Arabia really doesn't have any enemies. They pretty much get along with everybody in the Middle East except Israel. Imagine that. Yeah, he says. And I say, yeah, surprise, surprise. But Israel's super effing pissed about this because forever they were like, well, what are we going to get out of the deal? And Trump told them nothing. Because this is a deal for the U.S. We are not anymore negotiating for Israel. And then Israel's pissed off about Syria as well. Syria, they were overthrown by our CIA just before Trump was elected. And what Israel wanted was to occupy and take over Syria. They want Syria. They want Jordan. And Russia was up there and had a partnership with Syria. So when Syria fell, Russia came down and they started occupying Syria's military bases. Now Russia is set to withdraw. And so Israel was telling us, hey, you need to make Russia give us these military bases in Syria. And Trump was like, no, we're not doing that. We are not pressuring the rest of the world for you anymore. So now Turkey is mobilizing its forces and it's going to begin to occupy these parts in Syria. Now, why is Israel so pissed about that? Well, because this is Israel's plan for, quote, greater Israel, end quote. And then General Sherman, he shows this map that's behind him. And it's this huge map called Greater Israel, which is like showing their empire building goal plans. And he says, this is Israel's plan for Greater Israel. And he shows Turkey, and of course you already know Palestine, parts of Iraq, Lebanon, big chunks of Syria, Jordan, parts of Saudi Arabia, and even big parts of Egypt. And he says this would include the Great Pyramid. Weird, he says. Yeah, weird. These are all lands that Israel wants to take over. But you're not going to get this anymore, and this is easily found. Google search, find this in 3 effing seconds. He means find the goal map called Greater Israel and see their goals. This is their plan. This is what they have been using the United States to destabilize the entire Middle East for the last 2 years. You see Iraq, Syria, Lebanon. Afghanistan is actually on the other side of Iran. Learn your geography and it will really help you understand what's going on over there. But this is what Israel has wanted for the entire time. They can't be happy with what they've got, as we've seen. They want to effing take over Gaza, the West Bank, all this other shit around them. It has never been Israel's plan to just live and cohabitate with all the other neighbors. This is what they want. This is their idea for their future. You just can't do this. We do not allow any country to just take over this much effing land. So, and this is the Zionist plan, you know. This is not all of Israel, and everybody needs to understand. You need to separate Netanyahu's corrupt-ass government from the rest of Israel. It's no different than when Joe Biden was president of the United States. It didn't make every U.S. citizen a corrupt, effing, lying sack of shit. No, it was just our government. Do not conflate Benjamin Netanyahu's actions with all Jews. Do not ever effing claim that it's all the Jews. It's Benjamin Netanyahu's corrupt devil ass, just evil SOB, and the Zionists that are effing pushing for all this BS, all the effing wars and the problems. You have to separate it. You have to understand it. So you can speak about it. when you say it's all the Jews, the conversation is just effing gone. It gets done. Don't effing do that. Understand. Separate. Benjamin Netanyahu's government and Benjamin Netanyahu's already been found a war criminal in the international court system. And as soon as he is out of power, that mother effer is going to jail, as well he should. Control of Israel needs to be given back to the people. They are not a democracy. He's been the effing dictator of that place for 17 years. You're not president of any country for 17 effing years. No, you're an effing dictator. And as soon as this war with Gaza is over, again, Netanyahu's effing out of there. So, and he's pointing to the greater Israel map. So this is what they're after. This is what they're not effing getting. That's why they are pissed. And Netanyahu has already threatened, saying that Trump doesn't have U.S. support, and he's going to effing make the Senate turn against him. And that's where AIPAC, and that's spelled AIPAC, and AIPAC is the I'm saying this to you in case you don't know. AIPAC is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, and I want to laugh after that. Ha, yeah. So back to General Sherman, he says, and make the Senate turn against him, and that's where AIPAC comes in. AIPAC needs to be made to register as a foreign entity, and a lot of these problems will be ended, because a big chunk of our Congress and Senate has been bought off by Israeli-funded super PACs. That's what the whole effing mess is about, people. So educate yourselves, learn to talk about it all, understand the geography of what's going on here, and the things make a lot more sense. And the media can't gaslight and effing lie to you. So there you go. Good luck to you all. Long live this beautiful republic. Thank you, General Sherman. And I'm going to say in closing, virtually every U.S. congressman or woman has long held dual citizenship. They're all been given huge chunks of big bribery money in their pocket, as long as a lot of threats, I'm sure, because these people, these dark satanic minions following the orders of their dark cult, whatever you call them, Khazarian Mafia, corrupted Freemason, Illuminati, 13 satanic people, bloodline families ruling out of Venice and Rome, Jesuits, whatever you call them, they're all just branches on the same satanic force, the same ugly, yucky, gross, hideous tree of this. And these beings know how to honeypot politicians. You best believe it. They know how to lure them into parties and knock them out with drugs and have them wake up with very young children and things, appearing to be engaged with them in certain acts. And even if that politician was innocent, who would believe that? You know, when they stop recording and then the person wakes up and they show them what they've got and say, you're going to have to vote as we say, you're going to have to listen to us. We're your bosses now. Otherwise, we're going to make this public. No one would believe that. If you see these, little recordings and films and it looks like things are happening with the children, whatever. Yes, in some cases, in many cases, they are already happening for real. But in cases of the few innocent people that didn't want to go along with an evil program and were trying to do their best, they get hamstring way early on before they can even do anything. And then they're just owned. They're just owned. And it just gets worse and worse because, like I've said before, what do you think happens to the human psyche when it's like your life is already over? What you were dreaming about accomplishing is not going to get done. You're already owned. You're already blackmailed. You already feel so shamed for getting caught in such a stupid position, even though if you're innocent, you couldn't understand how evil these people are and what lengths they would go to drug you and dupe you and do all these things, because sane people don't think that way. But what do you think happens to the human psyche when you're that degraded, that hopeless, feeling that helpless, like you have to pretend that you're still like a man or woman with power, but you're just a lackey of these beings. It's just, generally it's just too easy to keep following on that rotten trail and do worse and worse things and go down that path and get to the point where, yeah, you are going to be picked up for crimes against humanity as well as treason and have that capital punishment. So that's getting cleaned up. And also, just as another note, I've shown this, I can't show you here, but I've shown this on my other social medias. Benjamin Netanyahu has been showing himself clearly last year, I believe it was, with a face mask that was cut almost just jaggedly. I mean, it was on purpose, like a good 2 inches between the end of the hyperskin face mask he was wearing and the different color of his neck, and then the beginning of his rounded collar shirt he was wearing, talking on camera, talking into microphones. So I don't know who's playing Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure if it is a white hat or if white hats just made sure to make sure that was seen, making a statement about that so that people know that Benjamin Netanyahu is a goner and that someone else is a face mask playing that role. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have enough proof into it, so I can't say definitively if a white hat actor or if a black hat actor just took over and picked up where Netanyahu left off. But I do know that, for example, Javier Milei of Argentina is most definitely a face mask. The original Javier Milei, and you can look into this for yourself, and I encourage you to. Don't just blindly believe me. Do your own research. Don't use Google or Wikipedia. Use Bing Brave browser, and then you can go on different sites and look into this for yourself. Javier Milei of Argentina is not the original one. He's definitely a white hat actor. A lot of people say it's Robin Williams playing Javier Milei. It seems like it. I don't have proofs of it, but it seems like it. And Javier Milei, the original, was a very dark cult from this Khazarian mafia satanic bloodline. Javier Milei's father, and I've seen the pictures of it, his father was Norberto Horacio Milaikowski. And it's the same family as Benjamin Milaikowski Netanyahu, whose father was Benzion Milaikowski. It's the same family. So as we see across this, and we have seen across the Earth realm, you don't just have to be a royal to be cousins and be connected. The same dark force, satanic, pedophile elite controlling beings have been installed. Virtually, it was everywhere. And really, a lot is not what it seems. There are 200,000 face masks being worn by the white hats in all different forms and functions of all different places in society. So right now, when so many people say, oh, nothing's happening or whatever, they don't have any idea that they've been watching for years a face mask play a bad guy. That the bad guy was already, or woman, the bad guy or bad woman was already taken care of, was already picked up for treason and or crimes against humanity, and is not walking around. But the show goes on, and the show has been about needing to literally show people what they had not been able to believe and would never believe if they were just told. They would never believe it if they were just told, oh, that was a bad person doing this. They would say, oh, you're just making that up. So they have to see all these machinations play out. And because President Obama, the satanic, and he's a goner, he's not around, he hasn't been around for years, neither has Big Mike, otherwise known as Michelle. But President Obama, the satanic Manchurian candidate, formally gave presidential pardons to all these crooks and criminals and evils, but right before he left office. So they had to be caught again in the crimes. They had to be caught again doing their activities. That's another reason. But there's so much good is going on right now, even though it seems pretty chaotic. And President Trump is not a lover of chaos, but the chaos is swirling around everything he does because he is an instrument. He is an instrument being used by Mother, Father, God, the trumpeter, to shake up these foundations that were too glued and too stagnant and stuck of this evil. You can't just gloss over that. Like, you can't build a new house on a rotten foundation. You have to clear it all out. And it takes a great shaking. And it's taken a great shaking, and it's obviously still going on now. People that are just too cemented in their faulty belief systems, and they don't want to change. They don't want to look at evidence. They don't want to look at facts. They just want to turn on their TVs and have that brainwashing and those Leela waves, spoon-fed right into them. They just want to do their easy route of picking up their Sunday morning paper of these lies and gaslighting and these stories playing out by the very people that are perpetuating the evil. Own those periodicals and those channels, news channels. So, I just want to impart, though, such a feeling of optimism. Can you feel it? I mean, it's very clear to me. I can feel the reboot. This is a start. And once again, if you're not American and you're listening to this, it's not just about America. President Trump even spoke in the Saudi-U.S. summit about Iran. And, he says we will never allow Iran to have an nuclear weapon. But, of course, he's wishing the best for the Iranian people and wishing they could get out of that terrible dictatorship, that terrible, corrupt, satanic dictatorship, and be free again like they used to be in the 70s. And he's wishing that for them, and so am I, but not underneath this satanic agenda that comes out of the Ayatollahs and all the nonsense coming out of Iran. I look forward to we, the people of this earth realm, reclaiming what they really are, living how they were created to live. And I don't mean living as saints. I just mean doing, more often than not, just doing the best you can. And nobody's perfect. Just doing the best you can, and living a life that you really like to live, that you feel so satisfied and content with, and you feel like that your life is a life worth living. And the key to that is about contribution, because it never feels satisfying just to give only to ourselves. However, what also, and I can't go down this rabbit hole because it will take too long, but I didn't start out being a conservative. I was very ignorant with a high-priced liberal education, and I believe I didn't have CRT, critical race theory, but when I was, I prepped when I was in high school, but went to prep school, but I didn't have that so obviously as it is right now. However, I thought socialism was like a thumbs up. I was very ignorant. I thought it meant like sharing and caring, because I do believe in helping ever, hurting never. But that's something we've had to wake up to. And that's a great hook that the leftists, the satanic communists that are basically are, the Democratic Party now, even though this corruption has been on both sides of the aisle, no doubt. But the leftists, Marxists, communists, really Satanists, they know that it's a great hook to appeal to people's compassion and say, no, you have to help. You have to give all these billions and these starving over here. But we were never looking into it. Like, where did all that money go? Did you ever help Haiti build houses? Did you ever help why in Africa they're starving for so long? And just said, well, there's just forces that won't let us give them the food, but never looking into that and seeing, are the evil partners with those forces that we're just calling rebels? Are you actually funding that? And but then still you keep trying. If a system's broken, but you keep trying to pour not just billions but trillions of dollars down that hole, and then telling the American people we don't have enough money to get our not have our veterans laying on the sidewalk, living on the sidewalk with no limbs and no medical care and no care and concern. For example, no care for our elderly, no care for the truly disenfranchised. Instead of all this pretend stuff that we've seen with this invasion of our country, during the last several years, which is now being cleaned up, as you very well know. I highly doubt you don't know that. So much good is here. The reboot is here. And I say just make the best of your day. We all have challenges and problems. That's part of life, but it's how you view these challenges. And I wish for myself even more, and I wish for all of you even more, to get a sense of excitement like we used to have, most of us when we were children, that if you get a challenge, like you have that self-confidence, like I can do it, I can handle it. Oh, it's a problem, I can solve it. I know there's solutions to that, I can figure it out. Instead of this heavy layer of dread, hopelessness, desolation, and turning to substances and different things to just kind of numb out. Much good is incoming. Just know that. And that means for everyone. That means for everyone. Of course, the evils have to be handled and their minions. You can't do all this corruption and harm and murderous activity and thieving and everything else and not be held accountable. But if you're not doing that, help is here. God bless you all. I'm going to end this clip with the closing prayer that's in Sanskrit and Telugu. And what I'm saying is, God bless all beings in all worlds. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Yes, peace, peace, peace. Let's have peace, peace, peace. God bless you all. I'm sending much love and big hugs to you and yours. God bless you and yours. Big hugs and love to you and yours again. I'll see you when I see you, and bye-bye for now.